Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to your favorite podcast, airing on the Sunday every Sunday. I'm your host, DJ.
And I'm your host, Madness, and this is the Sunday Ball Podcast. All
Woo!
right.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen.
So today, we're just gonna be talking about some stuff. I think we're gonna keep it more fantasy relevant, just because we did a lot of college stuff last week.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But first, we should be talking about the LeBron news because that puts a team like the
Yeah.
Sixers in even more of a better position than
hmm
they were in the first place. We kind of
Not
had them as
just a better position, but a contending position. We've been waiting on this decision for what it seems like a month or two, and you could chalk that up to Bron's a media darling. You could chalk that up into the Kalshi stuff, how much money they've been making with people trading every single day. But what's done is done. The Akron Hammer is not going back home, but going close to back home. It's a couple hours, from Akron or Cleveland all the way to Philly, and he's going to contend for a ring with a very interesting squad in the Philadelphia 76ers who've had a pretty big offseason. Um, I
yeah,
mean, we've talked about
yeah.
it a little bit, but they brought in Jalen Brown in the Paul George trade that I would say was a little favored for the Sixers, especially in the long run, compared to a guy like Paul George, who had one of the worst contracts in basketball, things considered. You have an actual point guard for LeBron in Tyrese Maxey, which is definitely the reason why he went there. At least I believe that. With the Heat, he was going to have to play more of a point forward, lead ball handler role. With the Sixers, he's going to be a little more off ball. He won't be a primary ball handler. He's going to be the third and fourth option on offense, and that's okay. You obviously have to hope for a healthy Embiid. I like VJ Edgecombe. To keep VJ with this squad is actually um, it's very surprising. You would think that to bring in a player like Jalen Brown, you'd have to trade VJ, but they didn't have to, and that's a rock solid starting five. I feel really good about LeBron's chances to come in and complete the process and get them over the hump. I mean, seriously, Jake, what do you think?
Yeah, no, that's definitely a deep. Sorry, the group chat's getting spammed right now. Yeah. So I'm trying to turn the. Yeah. Okay. Never mind. Um. So yeah, with the starting lineup, it's looking like they're probably going to be contending out of the East. I really don't think there's another team that really compares to them.
They're my two seed. Yeah,
The Knicks are still up there, even with the departure.
still my one. I don't think
I
Mitch makes nearly as much of an impact. Mitch is
I
great, but
I
Andre
I,
Drummond does what 80% of what Mitch does, 85%.
yeah. I just have yeah. I really couldn't tell you what I do expect out of the East. I really think it's going to be a two man,
It's going to be
two
a
horse race.
dogfight. Honestly,
Yeah, between
depending on
these
how
two
high you are on the
teams.
Celtics, my prediction was that he was going to be a Heat, a Miami Heat. What would you say? Would you say he'd be a Heatle? He would be on the Heat, but you're a Celtic. You're a Celtic. You're not a Heat.
I kind of figured
Hot boy? Hot
The
boy?
Sixers are the
I don't mind Hot
Warriors.
boy.
That's just kind of what I figured. Just because the Sixers, for the contention purposes, him getting added to a roster at this point in his career doesn't really move the needle as much on a team that's probably low end contender, high end playoff team, like around a four seed, like the Cavs, like the Heat, like
hmm
one of those teams. But going to the Sixers, where he's kind of just being going to be slotted into like, honestly, probably line him up at the three or the four. I'm guessing
He's going to play the four. Yeah, he's a four at this
he's
point in
going to
his
play the
career.
four,
BJ's going to be the
and then
three. JB will be the two, and Maxi be the one.
they got Dean Wade from
Yeah,
Cleveland,
but
right?
he's more of a bench guy. Embiid, if he
Yeah,
can stay
no,
healthy, I still think they need to bring in a secondary center. You bring in
yeah,
Gafford, you trade for Miles Turner, bring in old man Brooke Lopez. They need somebody that can play the same amount of minutes in the regular season as Embiid, and that kind of leads me into I might go on a tangent here, but my problem with LeBron signing with the Sixers, and I believe this, I was thinking about this a couple days ago. In every other location that he was thinking about, and I'll say it's the Cavs, it's the Warriors, and it's the Heat. And the Timberwolves, I suppose, but it's really those three. Everyone has experienced playoff performers, or at least players that can take the brunt load in a playoff scenario, and we've seen them do that. Even Donovan Mitchell and Evan Mobley, we've seen be able to step up and be a one in the playoffs. With LeBron going to Philly, there's not really that guy, which I'm afraid of him having to be the number one in a playoff scenario. That's what kind of
I
makes
kind of disagree
me
with that.
thinking about this. But because
I
Tyrese
definitely
Maxey,
would
he has been known to close, and I like Maxey, but Maxey has been known to kind of shrivel up a little bit. Jalen Brown, same exact thing. We saw it in the playoffs in Game 7 this year. And Embiid's not really available. So that does scare me to see LeBron have to fall into a role like that. But if he was playing with Steph or Giannis, you really wouldn't have to think about that. And that's kind of a worst case scenario, but it could come down to that in a Game 6 in the semis. In Game 6 in the semis for the East, or a Game 5 in the Eastern Conference Finals, or even, this team has huge aspirations. There's going to be at least a few games throughout the tenure, throughout the whole length of the season, because I don't know if this is his last season. He signed a 2-year deal. I think he's going to play out the two. Um, it would surprise me if he doesn't. But it does scare me a little bit that it's going to have to fall on his shoulders at least some point in the run. Where if he went to a team like the Spurs, the Wolves, the Warriors, the Heat, and the Cavs, maybe the Cavs a little bit less, but he wouldn't have to take on a brunt load come playoff time when those guys who you need to step up can't step up because the lights were a little too bright. That's what scares me.
Yeah, no, I think you're kind of downplaying what Maxi and Brown have done previously in their career. I'm not talking
Are
about
we
like the
talking about you're talking about regular season though? I'm talking about the
no, no,
postseason.
I'm talking about postseason. No, I'm talking because I
Jalen
mean
Brown,
Jalen,
that MVP is a fraud. That Finals MVP is a fraud. It was Jason
but
Tatum's award.
still,
Jason Tatum, just because Jason Tatum was cold shooting, he still ran the offense. He still was their lead playmaker. I like Jalen Brown. I do. He was probably my 4 or 3 pick for MVP this season. They're going to be awesome in the regular season. They're going to win 60 something games. Like that, I'm not. And this is it's a small gripe with the fit, but I personally I thought he was going to the Heat. I would have loved for him to play that point forward role. I thought that was very interesting for him to. Sounds stupid, and it sounds almost you're inflating LeBron a little bit, but to play a Magic Johnson Jr. If we never saw Magic play at the end of his career, he was infested with AIDS because he liked touching women unprotected. But if he didn't do that, if he kept his willie clean, if he wore a life jacket, kind of what that older Magic Johnson, a little bit of a step lost could have been. And he has the playmaking chops. He's a top 5 playmaker of all time, at least IQ wise. He's led the league in assists before. He's averaged 10 assists before at point guard. It's not like he hasn't. So I would like to see him be that type of guy, a primary ball handler who can bring up the ball. He's going to be a catch and shooter. He's going to be playing off of guys. But this is his best shot to win a championship. And if he wants to catch up to Michael and get 5 and 6, or really just 5, because 5 and 6 would be really tough, this is the spot to do it.
yeah, this was definitely made the most sense. I mean Miami. We talked about their outlook after the Giannis trade, and I just don't love it. I think they're just not deep enough, especially with because I feel like it's kind of just Giannis. Bam is a very good player, but he's not. He shouldn't be a two option.
But Bam could be a 2. I actually feel Bam is one of the best defenders in the NBA. He's extremely
Yeah,
versatile, and he can be
he's
your
a great defender,
two
but
A. He could be your 2A, 2B with LeBron being 2B. I'd feel good about that. But now I don't really like it because Khalil Ware is playing um, point guard, or no, yeah, Khalil Ware, right? Um, but he's playing point guard right now. Norm Powell's gone. You have Wig. Uh,
it's gonna be
it's just
Davian Mitchell.
oh yeah, Davian Mitchell starting at point guard. Khalil Ware is he with the Cavs still? I don't know, but that's what I mean. Like you're missing that guy. There's a that could have worked, but now I think they're a 6 seed. They could have been a 2 seed. Now they're at 6 or a 7. But like I really like the fit. I'm very excited. I am. I'm a Lakers fan down to heart, but I've kind of fallen in love with Bron over the past 10 years. I think that when the basketball gods thought of the best person, their magnum opus, they couldn't have even dreamed of LeBron James. He's 6'8", 6'9". He can off run against the Pistons in conference finals. It's nuts. It is so fantastic. LeBron scored 25 straight points. He's a basketball god. At the bare minimum, he's a top two player of all time. I don't care where you want to argue it. He does move the needle for the Sixers. I feel really, really, really good and really excited for next season.
Yeah.
So, trivia, Clowney. Thank you, Arshian. He hooked us up for the boys' B day. This thing's sweet. Can't beat it.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I'm excited, but all in all, I don't really think. I don't think there was a better fit than the Sixers right now.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe there's a better fit, but I don't think it puts him in the best opportunity to win. I
Yeah.
think him playing off ball, being able to kind of rest till playoffs, and Embiid as well, like both of them, granted, say they're a 55-win team, even if they take a few nights off, still puts them in a really good position to
Yeah.
come out on top of most series at that point. Because I think unless the Sixers really get something going, um, not the Sixers, sorry, unless the Celtics really get something going, I don't really see a great outlook for them this year without Jalen Brown. Um, the Cavs are dangerous, but again, like I just don't think Donovan Mitchell's enough to really be your head man and lead you to the finals. Um, is Halliburton
It's
going to
the
be back this year?
Pistons, it's the Raptors, it's the Wizards, it's my projection.
Pay,
What was the
pay,
question?
is Hallie back?
Pacers, yeah, Hallie will be back. Maybe a little slow start to the season, but my projection for seeding, and this is kind of off the bat, just this, I haven't really thought about, haven't ran down the schedule or anything, but my one seed would be the Knicks. I just think they have so much momentum going in, and they're going for that second ring. Then Philly, then Detroit, then the Celtics, the Raptors, assuming Kawhi goes through, assuming that trade happens, and then probably the Heat at 6, the Wizards at 7, and the Pacers at 8. Maybe the Pacers at 7 and the Wizards at 8. I find them kind of interchangeable. I really like the Banza with AD and Sar. That lineup's awesome. Koulibaly's great. Um, that team can play. Seriously, I'm very excited for the Wizards this year. Actually, they
Nah,
should be
I'm
fun.
really excited. I'm really excited about the Brooklyn Nets this year. Tickets are probably gonna be $10
No.
on a Tuesday.
Oh my God.
That's what I'm looking forward to. Michael
Like
never pass the rock.
MPJ is not
Porter
even
Jr.
playing. I like
That team is so bad.
no. I don't know what you could be excited for with the Brooklyn
All that
Nets.
was so. It was
They have
just so
Julius Randle
funny.
now. They have Julius Randle.
It's just so funny. Like just thinking about like when they had KD, Kyrie, and Harden, and then I think did they ended up trading like both of them for like a shit ton of pay. Like I feel like they should be a much better team than what they are.
They traded Harden for Ben Simmons.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that says it. That says it.
Yeah.
That's enough.
No, I don't think anyone's believed in the Nets in years. If KD wore a size smaller feet, they would have won the NBA Finals that year, actually, which is funny. But because he stepped on the line, you remember that. But
Sure.
no, I don't. I don't think we need. I don't really want to talk about the Brooklyn Nets, to be honest with you.
All
I'm
right, let's
actually
talk about
okay. That actually sounds miserable. I'm actually gonna pass on that.
we talk about fantasy.
Yeah, I was. Is there anything else in the NBA world we'd want to even talk about? I mean,
No, I
who's
think
your MVP
everything's
pick
kind
for this
of.
season? Who do you who? Let's say who's your MVP pick in a dark horse? Give me that, and then we'll hop right into it.
I'm probably gonna go Luca, um, just for the because I really think he is gonna have to backpack this year.
Yeah,
I think if the Lakers finish that as a top four seed, I really can't see anyone else getting it.
yeah,
There's no way that they give it to a 6 foot guard in Brunson. There's no way that Shea wins it 3 years in a row if they didn't give it to Jokic that third year.
Yeah, narrative wise, it's
Um,
not happening.
and I mean, maybe Wemby. I think Wemby's up there, but like after seeing what he did in the playoffs, just kind of like how he was playing, like if he starts actually like believing that he's a center and like plays more in the
Yes.
post and down low and stuff like that, instead of just doing pull up threes when you put your best rebounder, like he's their best rebounder, and then he's
And
just sitting
he
at the
can do
3 point
he
line,
does
just shot
putbacks to his own
chucking.
3 pointers. It's nuts. I've never seen anything even remotely like it.
It's
It's
it's in,
crazy. But
it's
yes, I agree
insane,
with
but it's just
you.
like
I
it's
think he's a year
bizarre.
away, and I think that the depoy is his to win. It's a lock. I genuinely
Yeah,
believe that if he
yeah.
hits the
I
game
think he has
minimum. But
depoy. The thing is with Wemby, it
who
just
else?
depends how much he's really on the court this year.
It does. That's if he hits the game minimum. Exactly.
Yeah,
He's not my
same thing
yeah.
with
But
yeah. So I
Luca's the
think
same way,
Luca.
though. I have to admit, I do think Luca's going to put up 36
I
and 10 this
yeah.
year. I think it's going to be nuts.
I think Luca's going to be putting up at least 30
I think narrative
average.
wise, they would love to give it to an LA guy. A Laker hasn't won the MVP since Kobe Bryant. LeBron would have won
Um,
it in 21 if he stayed healthy, but they had the NBA and Adam Silver is dying to give the MVP to a Laker. I think there's a big reason why Luke is in LA in the first place.
and then I I guess like a dark horse candidate, which is kind of like someone that I could really just see like having a really good year and just kind of. I was talking about this earlier with the Celtics. Tatum has an insane year,
Yeah,
gets them
totally.
back to that place where that they were
Hmm.
without Jalen Brown. It's
Yeah.
kind of undeniable that like I mean it's not that like dark of a horse, but it's like definitely
No, that's a pretty
just
dark horse. He's probably number 8, number 9. That's a good pick.
yeah. No,
100%. I
I
really
just
like that.
feel I love Jason Tatum's game just across the board. He's kind of without that injury, he'd be kind of roughly a little bit towards the end of his prime, roughly. Maybe a little, maybe directly in the middle of his
He's
prime, but
teetering.
like
He's
mid,
a
yeah,
30 even, I believe.
yeah, mid end of his prime. So I think it would make sense for him
Yeah.
to really
If
get
he can
one.
bounce
And I
back
know,
fully, I mean, he
and
looked pretty solid at
if
the
that
end of the year
Celtics team
last
could go for almost 60 win, like
year. You
probably finishes the top 4 team, it's kind of similar to the Luka position because that Celtics team is pretty depleted. Like,
Yes and no. I think that PG does fit the system, and there's a reason why they did it. He is on an expiring contract next season. There's a reason
yeah,
why that trade was pulled off. There's,
and they got
I
picks
like the
too.
Celtics
It's not bad.
actually. I think it is gonna if the Celtics are going to contend and they can get a top 3 seed. I think Jason Tatum could have an excellent take. My pick for MVP officially is Giannis next year. I just think he's been kind of cut out, and this is going to be the career renaissance type of year where there's a reason why NBA, like you look on ESPN, and yes, ESPN loves clicks. We don't love clicks here. We speak our truth. But there is a narrative going around that the Heat are going to miss the playoffs next year. I genuinely think that that is the best front court in the NBA by a country mile to have Giannis and Bam. That is so amazing. That is the best defensive front court in the NBA.
Yeah,
And
I
they
think
not
teams
only
will
on
be
defense
lucky
but
to
on
put up
offense.
100. I think teams will be lucky to put up 100 against them.
It's going to be crazy because Giannis has been, yes, he's not at his defensive peak as he was when he was winning depoys, but he can still do it, and he's kind of been slept on because of how bad the Bucks roster has been. That Kyle Kuzma's his second best player. I'm very excited for the Heat coming into this season, and I do think that in order for the Heat to be good, but I'm not even scared about the Heat being good. I truly believe that Giannis is such a needle mover. He is a top 3 player in the NBA. He is still above Wemby for me. That he is going to prove the doubters wrong, and I think he's an excellent bet for MVP. I know he's probably tolling in at about 5 right now in the ranking. My sleeper is Cade. He only can build on next season. He was in the MVP talk this season. If he is able to bring that roster back and have another first seed, another contender for the first seed, I think he has an excellent say. My nuclear dark horse is Scotty Barnes, I must admit. If the Scotty truth finally comes to fruition
I love
and
Scotty Barnes.
Kawhi, whether Kawhi's there or Kawhi's not, and
I,
Scotty's
I
the number
just
one
I just
option,
don't know if Scotty's gonna really be able to put up. Like, what do you think he's realistically going to be able to put up?
Scotty knows. I think Scotty could put up 26
Actually,
points.
Scotty doesn't know.
Scotty knows. Scotty is nuts. He's still young too, which is crazy.
Scotty
Um,
doesn't know.
but I could see Scotty Barnes putting up 26. I'm gonna say 6.5 assists and 9 rebounds next season. And if
Yeah,
that means the Raptors are a 2 seed in a very tight East, like this is a difficult East, and this, of course, I picked the Raptors as my 6 seed in my predictions. If he can will them to a 2, which is not out of the realm of possibility, he would have a good say at it. And I would love for the Scotty Barnes narrative to come to fruition. I would love to see Scotty as a top 10 player next year. I still believe in Scotty. There's no reason for me not to. He was extremely impressive in their win against the Cavs this playoff series, or this past playoff series. And if he can build on that, he is so impressive. His ceiling is sky high. He has the ceiling of a top five, top six guy. I like Scotty Barnes a lot. I'm not going to say it's a lock, but I would
didn't
love to
didn't they
have him in
lose
the
to the
dark horse.
Cavs?
No, they beat the Cavs.
No, I thought the Knicks played the Cavs and swept them.
No, what was it? Game six. He had
Yeah,
he had some ridiculous
no,
performances.
he has some really good games.
I just
Yeah,
think if he could build on that, I don't think that Raptors roster wasn't complete, and I do think bringing Kawhi for Brandon Ingram, if the trade goes through, we're not going to start talking about whether if it is or if it isn't, but Kawhi Leonard for Brandon Ingram, despite the picks, is such an upgrade even at Kawhi's late stage in his career. I like Bi too, but Kawhi is just a different type of player. He's still top 15, and I don't. He's not a guy that declines. He was pretty healthy this season actually. But
yeah.
yes, all right.
All right, let's get into some fantasy talk.
Give the people
More
what
of
they
my cup of
want. Give them
tea.
what they want.
So, eh, we're not giving the people what we want, what they want. This is what I want. I
Give
want
them
to talk
what
about
I
fantasy.
want.
I love fantasy football. This is my favorite thing in the world. So we did go through our top 12 running backs. They have shifted a little bit here and there. Like K Walk, I do have a little
Yeah.
bit higher than previously. And Achan did, or Devon Achan, I don't know how to say his last name, um, did drop a little bit more for me. So it's just
Yeah.
kind of that's pretty much the same for the most part. But I kind of want to go through our top 12 wide receivers. We do top 12 wide receivers like we do for running backs. And then I think for quarterbacks and tight ends, since there's only one spot for them, I think we do our top eight.
Top 8 for tight ends. Yeah, I'm with that for quarterbacks as well if you want to go there.
Yeah, so I have a list just off the top of my head for the most part. I could start at 12 and work my way down.
Feel free to go up and down your list. I'd love to hear your whole list, and then I'd love to say
I'll start at 1 so I don't miss anyone.
mine. Okay.
So number 1, we didn't talk about this briefly. Jamar Chase. I just even without Burrow last year and like we still saw that he was a top. I think he finished 4th last year in PPR. Just based on sheer volume. Like they want to get him the ball. Like he is their playmaker. He is going to be their guy. If Burrow's not on the field, he is going to get touches no matter what. And he had a few down weeks until Flacco got in, but Flacco will be back just in case Burrow's not there. And his performances when Flacco was there versus Jake Browning were significantly different. With Burrow, he was a Triple Crown winner, finished as a wide receiver 1 2 years ago. It's kind of hard to not have him at your number 1.
Yeah.
At number 2, I have Puka Nakua. He did finish as the wide receiver 1 last year. The thing is, I do think we're going to get a bit of a regression from what we saw from Stafford last year. And not a ton, but like enough where the volume is going to be spread out. The defense is going to be better, so I don't think they're going to have to Stafford's going to have to put up 40 something touchdowns again for them to win games. And yeah, I do like his upside. I feel like he's a safer pick than Jamar just because Burrow is very inconsistent with his health issues, and Stafford really hasn't missed much time, and his game is really not dependent on that much athleticism, just his ability to throw the ball. They didn't get another pass catcher opposite aside from Devontae Adams. So the only thing that I could really see cutting into it is good defensive play and then being able to run the ball at the end of the games and just rely on Kyron and Blake Corum towards the end of the games. At number 3, I have Amon-Ra St. Brown, finished as the wide receiver 3 last year. He is a very safe pick. I think he's guaranteed a top five finish. This Lions offense was still productive with injuries to Laporta. Jameson Williams did take a bigger role last year, but Amon-Ra still has a lot more upside. And I think in the past like 2 or 3 years, he finished as a top three receiver, and he's projected to go fourth. Or he's projected on sleeper at least right now. I think he's projected as the
Sleeper
fifth
has him at
receiver, and
Sleeper has him at 5.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I have him at three. I just
There's
think
a
he has more
grouping of
upside.
guys. There's a couple groupings.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I have him just slightly above Jackson Smith. Just because, and he's going to be my wide receiver four. He will really kind of depends on what you think of him. I just don't think he's going to get the sheer amount of volume that he did last year, just because of how his snap count was super high. Rashid Shaheed is officially in the lineup. He's going to get more accustomed to it. Sam Darnold is a very good quarterback, but a lot of those games he was able to just rely on getting the ball to JSN. I think Arroyo's there now. I think he's going to take a step as well. I think Shaheed's going to get a much more bigger role, especially more as a gadget option. I feel like they're going to give him a lot of just volume based targets. So I do see a bit of a regression, but not as much as a lot of people see. I'll go through my top six for right now, and then I'll let you go through your top six, and then I'll do my back six, because the top six I feel like are pretty grouped
Yeah.
together. Like there is a separation between them, but I
I
feel like
don't
the top
see any
six
of
is
us.
pretty
We'll have the
consensus.
same top 6. It's just gonna rotate. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so just especially with K-Walk on, Charbonnet down, we really don't know what Price is going to be doing. They lost their offensive coordinator, so that's a different situation that he's going to be in. I don't know what the volume is going to be like. So I'm a little bit more hesitant of it, and it would be very hard for him to recreate what he did last year, especially if the volume is not as high as it should have been, you know. Not even should have been, or as high as it was last year. Next, I have Justin Jefferson. After a down year for him is still, I think he finished 21st, which is not great. It's not ideal at all, especially with being on the field most of the time. And it is a little scary. He is the best receiver in football. He just had JJ McCarthy throwing him mallards all season. Like, there's a few plays, like I just saw him like give up. He was open and the ball just was not even in his vicinity. I think we'd see a very similar season to what DeAndre Hopkins did in Arizona with Kyler Murray. I still believe in Kyler, and the run game is just not there. Jordan Mason is really not a good running back. Aaron Jones is way
I like
too
Jordan
old at this
Mason,
point.
but don't get me started.
You can like Jordan Mason as much as you want. His efficiency
I
is
don't,
not good,
can't call
and
him a
he's
bad
just
running back.
no. I'm investing
Their running back
stock in
room is subpar. Yeah, I agree. I agree
their
with you.
running back room. Might be bottom five in the league right now.
I don't agree with that, but
Might be.
I think
So
they're
I
bottom
the the
12.
thing is,
I don't know if they're bottom, like,
it
I
might
don't
be
know.
bottom
I don't agree
five.
with that.
Could be
No, I
bottom
don't think
five
so. I don't want
because
to go down
so
teams. They're better than the Jags. They're better than the Titans.
they're
It's
not better than the Jags.
I'd rather have.
Tudor and Chris Rodriguez are much better than Jordan Mason and Aaron Jones
I
right now.
disagree with that. I disagree with that. I just do.
Oh, I
Ugh,
hate that. That was a
I
really bad
disagree with
take.
that. I I think
Look at their draft stock.
I'm
Just
not. Tootin has high draft stock. I'm not because Tootin's the lead back. There's two
Chris
split backs
Rodriguez has the same
there's two
has the
split
same
backs
draft
in
stock.
Minnesota, but I'm not. I would rather have
Tudor has the
if I
same
was a
draft
coach,
stock
I'd rather have
as
Jordan Mason and Aaron Jones than Chris Rodriguez and Bijal Tootin. That's just we're allowed agree to disagree. That's not what we're talking about right now.
a hard disagree.
I
Hard
hard
disagree there.
disagree. I like Tootin, but Tootin's not that great. Tootin's a good goal line back. I don't really like Bijal Tootin. He's gonna get goal line reps, but we're not talking fantasy. We're talking real. If we're talking real life, we're talking fantasy or real life.
Both. I'd rather have both.
I'd
I
rather
think
have
Tutin's better
Tootin
than
in
Jordan
fantasy,
Mason,
but I'd
and they're
rather
the
have
same
the
age.
two of them because I'm very
And Chris
low on Chris
Rodriguez
Rodriguez.
Chris Rodriguez is a better back than Aaron Jones is right now.
No, but you're entitled to that. You're entitled to, yeah, sure.
Okay.
I
Okay.
genuinely, I don't know
Sorry.
why, I don't know what Chris Rodriguez. Okay, we're not doing this. All right,
We can talk. Okay.
keep
So
moving, move
I'm
on,
still on Justin Jefferson.
move on.
Yeah, I think Kyler. I
LaQuint
am
Allen is
investing.
better than both Aaron Jones and Chris Rodriguez.
I am investing in Demond Claiborne. That might be a
I
late
am a
round.
believer.
That might be a late round dart throw right there from me. Demond Claiborne, Minnesota Vikings running back.
Big Dylan Laube guy this year.
Yeah. So Justin Jefferson, and then this is where it gets a little funky for me. It's kind of hard to not go with CD Lamb here, just because I think there is separation. But
Yeah.
then again, we saw what Pickens did last year, and Pickens kind of had the one role throughout most of the season. I mean, CD did go down with injury and stuff like that, and this offense is going to have to be super high powered for this two headed monster to really take off and be as productive as they were last year. The thing with CD Lamb is the touchdown upside just isn't really there with a big body receiver like Pickens, and at this point, at this point in your draft, it's kind of hard to go with a wide receiver in a very crowded room
Yeah. Agreed.
because Pickens is getting drafted like early third round, roughly, like
Hmm.
third round flip. And I mean, that probably is just inflated from last year just because people do think he's going to
It
get
is
much
inflated,
more
but
touches.
I don't
But he,
mind Pickens at the three turn. Like, not at all. I almost might prefer that than CD's ADP.
yeah,
But
no, exactly. And that's the thing. Like CD's ADP right now, he's sitting at 9 on Sleeper.
here comes the landscaping crew. There we go.
Nice. So, yeah, just kind of like this Cowboys offense is very good, but I don't think it's going to have to be as high powered as it was last year, where you're going to have two receivers that are going to have to go over 1,200 yards for them to be a playoff team. I think the defense got a lot better this year. I don't think it's their defense was horrible last year, so I think they're going to have at least some improvement with Caleb Downs, Rashad Gary, Quinn Williams being there full time. They got another guy from Kenny Clark from the Mike Parsons trade, another year under his belt. Well, Logan Wilson after that trade. So I do think the Cowboys do have more upside on defense. So I don't think this offense is going to have to be as high powered. So CD is still going to be here, but he's a lot tighter to the next guy than a lot of people have him at. Like I probably would draft multiple RBs ahead of CD Lamb at this point.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that's your six as well, just a little different order.
Mhm. Let me go down it. So I'll make it quick because you've kind of given good reviews. I think Jamar and Puka are pretty interchangeable. If I had the three pick, I'm probably going with Jamar Chase, to be honest. I just see a little more pop in that offense. And they're two of the best offenses in the NFL. The only thing that scares me with Puka is a little bit of regression for Matthew Stafford. He's just up to that age, which I think Burrow's out for revenge this year. I'm very high on Joe Burrow,
Yeah.
and I'm still high on Matthew Stafford. I still think he's a very competent quarterback even at his age. But I would rely on, like, if I had to bet, I just would assume that Burrow has the better season. I like T. Higgins more than I like Devontae Adams, and I think that's good for Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase plays his best ball when T. Higgins is out there. They're very interchangeable for me, and I think Puka has. I mean, Puka has literally just as Sleeper has him with more projected points. Like, and it's not just the projections, but we've seen the absolute blow up weeks for the both of them. And Puka might even have the potential if Devontae really takes that step back this year, and it's the Puka Nakua show. I'm fine with Puka. I find them as more of a 1A, 1B. I don't think there's any separation, really. I think it's kind of Sophie's choice. My number three would be, and I think this next three is also pretty interchangeable. I went back and forth, but my three would be JSN. I think the departure. I find that the Detroit Lions passing attack and the Seahawks passing attacks are very similar. I think there's very similar quarterbacks at the helm. I think they have very similar quality of offensive lines, and I think Shaheed and JMO are very similar. To be honest with you, you're allowed to think that. That's fine, but
I
with that
agree.
said, I do like. I think Shaheed is going to have a huge year this season. This feels like a very big Raheed Shaheed season. And that would take off a lot of pressure off of JSN, where he had such a great season. And I do think that Sam Darnold is a very capable deep ball thrower. I think he's a better deep ball thrower than Jared Goff. And that's when I get into my difference between Amon-Ra. I think Amon-Ra has a much safer floor. But are we playing to win? Are we playing to win 7 games? We're playing to win the whole thing. I would take JSN just because of the slight pop over Amon-Ra. Amon-Ra's my 4 because he's just done it year in and year out. As you said, he has multiple top 3 finishes. He's going to be their rock on the inside, and depending on how high you are on Jamison Williams, he's their deep threat. Amon-Ra's really not their deep guy, but I'm still very high on Amon-Ra, obviously. My number 5 would be J. Jeff, and I think he's, like I said, he's very interchangeable with this group. I do think they have the worst quarterback out of the 3, and Kyler Murray hasn't really shown the capability to support a top wide receiver. Yes, you cited, what is that, 2018 DeAndre Hopkins,
D-Hop,
2019?
yeah.
But it's years ago, and he just really hasn't showed the ability to support a number 1 wide receiver. And yeah, maybe that's more of a Marvin Harrison thing. Maybe that's his problem. But I see it as it's gonna be an improvement over whoever was there last year, over Carson Wentz, over Max Brosmer, over JJ. I think he's gonna be able to support Justin Jefferson to a top 5 finish. I think he's gonna finish as the wide receiver 5, if I had to really give an estimation. And he's gonna have those humongous Justin Jefferson weeks that we're used to. But I do see a lot lower of a floor compared to, I mean, our Super Bowl champions, our reigning Super Bowl champions, and a year in and year out beast like Amon-Ra and a beast like the Detroit Lions are. Even though they didn't make the playoffs, they produced extremely well last season, fantasy wise. And that's where the Justin Jefferson thing scares me a little bit. He was wide receiver 21 last season. And that's when I'll start talking about our wide receiver 22 from last season, which was CeeDee Lamb. Lamb kind of rotates here with Nico Collins for me. I think they're very
Whoa.
close, to be honest.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I have
I
some
would
I
go
have
with
some I have someone else in mind here.
your number 7? Really?
Yeah.
Is it AJ Brown?
No.
No.
I'll let you
All right, well, we'll
keep
talk about
going.
that after. That's fine. But yes, I would pick CD slightly over Nico because CD was hurt for a lot of the year last season. He still finished with around 15 points per game, and that is in an injury riddled season where he's not on the field. Even in the games he's playing, he's not on the field. He's not getting 90% snap counts that we've seen out of CD Lamb, that we've seen of him as the primary Z. I feel really good with CD Lamb coming into this season, and that kind of encapsulates and gets into what you were saying about the defense going to be pretty revitalized this season. I think that offense is going to pop this season. I think this is a sleeper Dak Prescott season. I think he's gonna give his last shout at the MVP if he has one. And CeeDee Lamb's gonna need to be there to do it. He's gonna need to have a great season. I feel pretty solid with him in my 6.
Okay. Yeah, no. I mean, yeah, just basically just flipping Amon-Ra
Same,
and
different order. Yeah.
JSN. Yeah, I think I think the Lions offense is a bit more high powered. That's kind of where my head's at, just because of what we saw last year. And
I agree with that, but Jahmyr Gibbs is eating reception work where I don't think the Seahawks have a eating reception running back. And Sam Donald's going to put up
no,
3,500 yards next season. It would be silly to say he's not going to. Who's
yeah,
1,800 going to go to? It's going to be JSN.
that's true.
They're both
Yeah.
excellent
So
teams.
at my
They're
number
both great games.
7, this might be a little bit weird of a take. I agree with this take a lot, but
Yeah.
because hence it's my take. Um, I have Drake London here.
Oh.
I know Bijan is going to cut into a
Okay.
good amount of receiving work, but outside of Bijan, there's nothing. Kyle Pitts is had a good end of the season,
Hmm.
but he's getting drafted way above his ADP. I don't even really think because Kyle Pitts is getting taken where Tucker Kraft's getting taken, where
Take that.
yeah, ahead of Laporta. That's crazy. We've been saying that for years. He's always end up going super high and then just like disappointing, and then ended up at the end of last season he started picking it up with I think Kirk Cousins was in most of that time, and he did well with Kirk Cousins. So But Drake London also did very well. He was hurt for a decent portion of the season, but he had one of the highest snap rates when he was on the field. And then he also had about 17 a game when he was on the field. That is great production out of your wide receiver. So I have him there. And then my number 8 guy is going to be Rashee Rice.
Oh,
I think the Chiefs are going to be back this year. I think the Chiefs are going to be back this year. I think Mahomes is going for another MVP Super Bowl run, and Travis Kelsey's down. Their wide receiver two is Xavier Worthy. They really don't have much outside of Rashee Rice, and when he was on the field, he was averaging 19 a game. He was hurt or arrested. No, he was just sitting on my bench for a while. But I just think he's going to have a great outlook this season with uh, probably the best quarterback in football, not really having much else to throw to. I think it's
football
going to be a big
someone. Rashid Rice is more than capable.
yeah. Rashee Rice is very capable there, and we've seen it from him before. And when he was on the field, he was still very productive, even with Mahomes off the field. So he's going to be my number 8. Number 9, I kind of got to give it to AJ Brown. It's a little funky here, AJ Brown, just because of what we saw out of him last season, but he still had a very quiet finish at wide receiver 11. Didn't look great last year, but he finished as wide receiver 11 in PPR for somehow, some way. And going to a situation where there's not much competition, there is a lot of receivers there, but there's not much competition that really compares to him. Romeo Dobbs is a solidified wide receiver 2 or 3. Same thing with Keyshawn Booty. He seems to be very happy in New England as of now. He's played with Rabel for. Siri, why are you on right now? No, no, I don't want you, Siri. Sorry. Can you get. Okay. I don't know why Siri came on.
Do you
Not.
erase silence from you?
Yeah, so.
Okay.
Nice. I have AJ Brown here. I just think he has the upside. He has great upside here in New England. He seems pretty happy. He's played for Vrabel before. He's going to be a bona fide one, and there's not much competition out here. Where does that put me? That puts me at 9. So number 10, I'm going to go Chris Olave. I really like Chris Olave here. The value here, what we saw the last 3 weeks from him with Shuck, I think he finished as a wide receiver 3 in the last 3 weeks of the season. And Tyler Shuck's going to be more comfortable in this offense. They're going to have a much more capable running game. Jordan Tyson is going to cut into a good portion of his targets. But the thing was, his target share was decreased with Shuck, and his production went up. Because towards the beginning of the season, if you had Chris Olave on your team, you're anticipating probably 10 receptions for 80 yards, maybe. Or I think he had 1 week where it was like 8 receptions for like 60 yards, and that's 14 points. But he was just a volume machine last year. So I do like Chris Olave's outlook with Shuck more than I did with Spencer Rattler there. I do think he has a lot more upside, and I think Tyson will cut into it a bit, but I just don't think it's going to be enough for him to go anywhere past wide receiver 10 this year. So at number 11, I hate leaving this guy off my list, not off my list, but like putting him here because he has been very productive for years, even in a bad offense. Nico Collins. Nico Collins is a very safe option. He's going to get his targets. The thing is, with CJ, CJ is the worst quarterback we listed here by a mile. I honestly, not a mile. We did list Kyler Murray, and we did list Tua. We did list Tua or Michael Penix, but I think he's in that. I think he's in that ballpark. I think he's in that ballpark, and the reason that
I'd
I
take
have him
Tua over him, and I would take him over Michael Penix.
we'll think about it. We'll think about it.
Keep going. All yours.
Yeah. So Nico Collins here at number 11. The offense is not as productive as it can be, and I think a good portion of his targets and his volume are going to be cut down by adding David Montgomery. I think he's going to be a three down back this year. I mean, maybe Woody Marks takes away from some of the receiving role, but even last year he wasn't really cutting into it as much as he should have. Um, so I think Demont might be a three down bell cow this year. That defense is going to reduce how much throwing volume they're really going to need this year. And Jaden Higgins, dart throw late, but
Sleeper.
he is a guy
Sleeper.
that
Him or
is
Jalen
going.
Noel. Seriously. Take one.
I'm bigger on Jalen Higgins this
Me
year.
too, but
Jaden
yeah,
Higgins,
me too.
just because of what we saw from him last year, being a
They're both dart
rookie,
throws.
being on the field. Um, and then Dalton Schultz, when he's healthy, he does cut into that as well. But we're gonna see what CJ could do. He has the weapons here. Tank Dell's gonna be back as well. I also saw him running routes the other day with Matthew Golden. He looks crisp. He looked really crisp. I was like, after ACL, I think it was like ACL, MCL, something else.
He ripped his leg apart. It was bad. It was not
Surprised
good.
where he looked explosive as hell. He looked
Yes.
really good.
Modern medicine, man. It's crazy. Seriously.
Yeah, so I'm gonna put Nico here, and then last but not least, this is my wide receiver 12 is gonna be Devonta Smith.
No Pickens. No Pickens anywhere?
I Yeah, I just can't. I think if CD ends up playing the entire season with Dak Prescott, the thing with Pickens was his production was great. He had great production last year, but I just think this offense is going to decrease. That's why I even debated putting Drake London ahead of CD Lamb. It's just we've seen what CD's done in the past with a wide receiver too. With Pickens, he was really the only guy on the field at one point. This offense might not have to be as explosive as it has been in the past. So that's kind of why I Pickens at third. Like he's literally like 12A for me. That's why I'm like
Yeah.
debating it. But Smitty's gonna be there.
Dog.
He's got to be there. He's the wide receiver one now. We've seen what he could do with AJ Brown off the field. The only reason that I have him lower than most is because of how much I think Saquon is going to, how much of a better season Saquon's going to have compared to last season. Dallas Goddard, I think, is going to be, he did take away from a good amount of Devonta Smith's touches last year. And Mekhi Lemon, he does have a nagging hamstring injury, which is something that people need to be aware of because we saw what it did to Emeka Ibuka last year, and how he was inconsistently off the field, and even when he was on the field, he didn't look 100%. Injuries like hamstrings that just kind of reoccur and never go away, and you never really you're good enough to play, but it kind of just nags at you. So I kind of see a really good outlook from Smitty this year, just because of how much AJ Brown's departure really allows him to open up his skill set because we saw him coming out. Not many wide receivers win a Heisman.
Crazy.
He is a
He's so
great talent.
capable. He's so
He
good.
and he
He
can
really
play
is.
all over the field too. He can
Brooks can
operate
get him
from
the
the
ball
slot. He
too.
can be an X. Get him the ball in space. He's a very capable receiver in pretty much every facet of the game.
Hmm.
So those are going to be my top 12. And then Pickens is going to be my honorable mention here. Um, and I'll let you go into your last six, and then I probably got to go to work.
Sounds good. Well, happy to go over some wide receivers and some ball talk. It's all good. But yeah, the first thing I'm going to say is Malik Neighbors would be in this group if I could say he was healthy. Reports are all over the board. If he was okay, let's say Malik Neighbors was good for week one, he would have made this group. He'd probably be my eight. But reports are all over the board, but at the very least, he'll be missing the first 4 to 6 games of the season. I think it's going to be more of like a week 10 to 11. He's exempt from my list. I'm not going to talk about Malik Neighbors. I do have another contingency that I'll talk about um, right now. And if Tua Tagovailoa is the starting quarterback of the Falcons come week one, London would be my seven. I 100% believe that. He's shown the ability to support not one but two fantasy relevant wide receivers. He's extremely accurate within 30 yards. Drake London's a good deep threat, but he's not that fast. He's more of a big body wide receiver to throw up touchdowns to. I'd feel really good if Tua was playing. We have no real consensus of who's going to win that battle quite yet, so we're going to leave it up. We're not really sure yet. If Tua's their quarterback, I would have him at 7. All you talked about with London, he's super super capable. He's been able to produce with a couple different quarterbacks, but I do think Tua is a better quarterback, at least floor wise for that offense. But if Tua's not playing and it's Michael Penix, I would have Nico as my 7. Nico was the wide receiver 8 last season in a relatively injury riddled season. He missed last week of the season. He was kind of dealing with nagging stuff all the year just because of the season before. But we've seen him be capable in. He was the wide receiver 1 in 2023, and he was wide receiver 8, all things considered, last season. If Dell's back on the field, if Montgomery's able to open it up with his running game, if Schultz is able to take the pressure off, I think he should get back to where he was at. And while I am relatively low on Stroud, he has shown his actual chemistry with Nico. I like him at the 7. He doesn't have as much of a ceiling as a guy like AJ Brown, who's going to be at my 9 spot, but he is still ridiculously capable. I love this trade, man. I love AJ Brown and the Patriots. It's such a good fit. It answers exactly what they need. He's
Yeah.
gonna fit so well. It's gonna be like butter. Seriously, I could see him performing at a top 5 level. His ADP is wishy-washy right now because of the mystery of what that offense looks like, but he should fit in as a 1 pretty much immediately. Drake May is extremely capable. He'd be in both of our top 5 for fantasy quarterbacks. I like him at my 9. He'd be in my 5.
He's
Yeah.
not on my 5.
Who do you have over Drake May fantasy wise?
Josh, Lamar, Jaden.
I don't know. I like Drake May over Jaden Daniels this season.
I don't.
I do.
I just the rushing upside's not there. Joe Burrow, if healthy.
May's got rushing
Joe
upside.
Joe Burrow, healthy. Caleb. I think
I would
Caleb's
not
gonna
take
explode
May
this
over
year.
Caleb fantasy wise.
Yeah, you would.
You the big
That
no, I would not. If I had both on the board at the same 80 at the same pick, I
you
would take
said you
May.
said you wouldn't take Drake May over Caleb Williams.
Now I am. I've rethought.
Exactly. That's why I was like, okay.
I know. It's
And
rethought.
honestly,
I like May's upside a little more than
I could
Caleb.
even see Jalen Hurts here ahead of Drake May for fantasy purposes.
Okay,
I
well,
just
we're not talking fantasy quarterbacks. I have not put together.
okay. No, yeah, I'm taking Drake May as my QB1. In real life,
You're,
but for fantasy
okay, Jake is
purposes.
ridiculous, but fair enough. Yeah, what I mean to say is I really
Ooh,
like Drake May's
Herbie.
fantasy outlook this season, and I think that he is more than capable of producing a top wide receiver in a top 6 guy to
Yeah.
finish. That's what I mean.
No.
I'm not
Yeah,
ranking
no,
guys, but
he
he's
could do
extremely
that,
capable.
but I mean, even I'd probably throw Herbie ahead of Drake May right now for fantasy purposes.
No, but
That
teach
offense
them.
is going to be so
It
good
is
this
going to be
year.
good. I'm not, but
That
so is
Chargers
the
offense
Patriots
is gonna be
offense.
so good.
Trayvon's going to blow up. It's going to be crazy in New England this season. I don't think it's going to be a Super Bowl lull. I think maybe in the regular season they're not going to win as many games because their schedule is tougher. But I don't think the team's quality is going to go down. I think it's only going to go up
No.
from here.
Yeah, I
Um,
think it's going to go up, but I just know how much tougher their schedule is.
Fair enough. I'm with that.
That's more where I'm looking at it from. Like I'm like Drake May had to finish as a QB2 last year.
Yeah. I
Great
love his
draft
rushing
pick by me.
upside compared to a guy, compared to Herbert and Williams especially. But we're not talking about
No,
that.
Herbie's got some rushing
Herbie's
upside.
excellent too. We're not. I thought
I
you didn't. I thought
love
you had to go to
Herbie.
work and you don't want to do quarterbacks. You can just do quarterbacks today.
No, keep going. Sorry.
Okay. My number 10, and this kind of rotates a little bit, but I would go with Garrett Wilson here at number 10.
Whoa.
Yes.
Oh.
They've never seen a
Oh.
quarterback like Geno Smith. They've never seen it, and
Has he
that
played
says
with
a
Geno
lot.
Smith?
That said, Garrett Wilson has never seen a quarterback like Geno Smith, and that says a serious amount. I'm in the NFL. What are you looking at?
I'm looking up at his previous quarterbacks because I actually want
You
to
know
see
his
who.
previous shitheads. They're horrible. Oh my god, it's disgusting. It's Tyrod Taylor. It's
A-Rod,
Mike
Zach
White.
Wilson, Joe Flacco, Mike White,
It's
Tim Boyle, Tyrod
Zach
Taylor. These are
Wilson,
all the
Tim
guys who
Boyle,
have
Joe
thrown
Flacco.
touchdown. These are all guys that have thrown touchdown passes to him.
Gross. That's a good trivia question, but I am high on Garrett Wilson this
Tim
season.
Boyle.
I think
It's
this is the
crazy, man.
season for him to earn that contract that he was paid the big money. This is time for him to earn it. Geno Smith is not a top 16 quarterback, but he is the most capable quarterback to put on a Jets jersey since Ryan Fitzpatrick. Genuinely. Yes. It's not even like remotely close.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the one before that's Mark
Yeah.
Sanchez. So like it's not great.
Who would it be
Um,
before that? Chad Pennington?
yes, it would be. Yeah.
Vinny
God,
Testaverde?
that's disgusting. Vinny Testaverde, yeah.
I think Tom Brady
Yeesh.
has more. I think Tom Brady has more touchdown passes than all four of the Jets' top four court throwers of all
Not
time.
even surprising. It's not like I'm not remotely surprised by that. But this could be the season for that Jets offense to finally do something. I'm very high on Brees and Garrett Wilson. Uh, I'm not really high in the tight end room just because I think it's kind of a wish wash. You
It's a little
draft a guy,
crowded.
but you still have Mason Taylor you picked in the third round. I don't really love it. But besides that, I do think Gino is a capable thrower of the football. He's a guy that can put up 3,500 yards, and the Jets haven't seen that in a minute. If he's able to put up 35, 3,000 yards and stay healthy, Garrett Wilson should reap the benefits. I am high on G. Willie this season, and he's my 10. My 11, and this is where it gets pretty tough, honestly. Um, I have a group of three right here. And my group, really, it's a group of four, because Rasheed Rice thing is interesting. Rasheed Rice would be my 11, but it kind of depends on when Mahomes is back. That it does because I
I
don't
don't
like
think
him
it
with Justin
does.
Fields. I actually want to talk about eventually. We'll do an official episode. It'll be Justin Fields versus C.J. Stroud, and just they have such interesting careers. Like one was given the keys, and he's kind of squandered it, and one was supposed to get the keys. Both Ohio State guys. One was supposed to get the keys, but they ended up trading him away because they had the first round pick. There was a big argument that year, whether 2023, whether oh, are we going to keep Caleb, or I mean, we're going to get Caleb, or are we going to keep Fields and ride it out? I think they have very
Don't
interesting
draft
careers to
Ohio
compare with each
State
other.
quarterbacks.
Don't do it. Don't do it. But besides that,
Dwayne Haskins.
they just have very
Rest in
interesting.
peace.
They have very
Carnell
interesting
Tate.
careers, and there is parallels a lot of there.
JT Barrett.
Yes, but besides the Ohio State quarterback discussion, but I would have purely. I'm gonna say that Rasheed Rice fantasy like season wide outlook. I just don't think he's gonna be able to produce with Fields at quarterback for let's say the first 6 to 8 games. And I really like him with Mahomes. If Mahomes was healthy all season, I might have Rice at my 8 or 9. But without having the stability of Mahomes to come in and produce with him, I don't think Fields is capable. His line
I
is still
think
like 160
Mahomes.
a
I
game.
think Mahomes still has like a decent chance to make Week 1.
Really? Even with getting
Yeah, I think
hurt?
there's. Yeah,
I
I think
haven't
there's a
heard the
chance that he
reports
might
I've
be
heard.
playing.
He's not going to be. Okay, I'm going to average him out. He'll go at my 12, just because if we can get it's still up in the air. But let's say it's 4 games out from Mahomes. I don't think they're just going to push him out the week 1. I think that would be silly. Let's say he sits the first 4 games. I would feel good at Rasheed Rice at my 12. My 11 would be Devonta Smith. Everything you said, I agree with. He's so fucking awesome. Devonta Smith is talent wise a top 10 wide receiver in the NFL. He's won a Heisman. He is ridiculously slimy. We've seen what he could do at the one without AJ. I think Makai Lemon and Dallas Goddard complement him very well to kind of separate teams from double teaming him. It's instead of years where AJ Brown would be hurt and then it was the double Devonta Smith show. So I feel good about him at my 11, and my 13 and 14 would be my 13 would be George Pickens. While I do think he's going to drop off from where he finished last season, I believe that Dak is going to be able to produce two top 15 wide receivers. I don't think he's going to fall off a cliff. I think he's kind of going to float around the 10 to 14 finish. He's going to be kind of a slightly better two than T. Higgins is. I think he is better than T. Higgins, frankly. So I'm very high, I'd say, on Pickens, and my 14 would be Emeka Ibuka. Uh,
No Olave.
he'd be my 15. I just think Tyson's going to jump into it. I like Olave a lot. Seriously, I do. He was great for me last season. He had to finish his wide receiver six, but I
Yeah,
do like Emeka Ibuka a little bit
dude.
more.
The
And that's like
last 3 weeks with Tyler Shuck,
he was so
twenty
good.
point
He's
five,
so good.
36.8, 25.9.
That's not a
Disgusting.
discount. That's not a discount to Chris Olave. I do think we're kind of due for at least like a relatively injury riddled season, just because he's shown it every year of his career, and then last
No,
season we
he
saw
hasn't. No,
he
he
has shown
hasn't.
it every year of his career.
He
He's
had
been
one
in and out of the
season.
concussion booth.
He had one season where he didn't play 15 games.
He's been in and out of the concussion booth. But either
He
okay,
played eight
no matter
eight
what
in
way you want to look at it,
2024.
I'm not discounting Chris Olave. He's still in my top 15. I'm not discounting him. I just would rather have Emeka Ibuka when they're both next to each other, because I truly believe that Emeka is going to be able to, especially with Evans gone and him at the bona fide Z. He has more upside than anyone else in my top in my 10 to 14. He has the upside here. Emeka could finish top 4, top 5, which I don't think anyone else around here could. Maybe Smith, given the perfect Philadelphia Eagles offense. I still don't see it, but
Smitty,
maybe Olave would
Rasheed
have to be a
Rice.
miracle.
Rasheed
Rash-
Rice does have the
Do you see
upside.
really a top 5 finish from Rasheed Rice?
It's possible.
It's
It's in the
possible.
cards.
I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm just saying that I think Emeka, as now he has the keys. He's got the keys to the Maserati. It's his offense. He is the Z, and he is the number one option. Baker Mayfield has shown that he can produce. I really like it. I think Chris Godwin's gonna be good this season. I think Chris Godwin's shoot in for about 750 yards. I like McMillan in that offense. I just I really like Emeka Ibuka. If he can do what he did in the beginning of the season last season and carry that on, I know he had a little bit of a lull.
before the hamstring injury.
Yeah, if he can just stay on the field and go from there, he should catch fire next season. I really think that Emeka Ibuka can't not be mentioned in this list. That's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, he's definitely up there for me. I still have ahead of him. I have Pickens. I think Ibuka's right there. T Higgins is relevant. I like Terry McLaurin's outlook. I like Lab McConkey's outlook, but I don't think you should buy into Lab McConkey when you could get the same value
Yeah,
6 rounds later.
I agree.
Quinn Johnson.
I think Ted Earl McMillan would be my 16.
Oh yeah, Ted's got to be
Yeah.
up there. I
Ted
do
finished
love
at
Ted.
16 last season, and he's only going to get more work this season.
Zay Flowers finished at 7, and we just don't like Zay
Are we
Flowers.
ready?
He's just
Do we want to talk about Zay Flowers here? I mean, like,
I just nah.
I'm not taking him
I,
above any of those other guys.
nah. Let's end on
He
a
did finish a wide receiver 7. I'm not taking him.
yeah. Let's just end on a high note. Mecca Book is disgusting, and Zay Flowers is
All right, what's the last thing you want to talk about? We'll do a real quick one, and then
not Zay Flowers.
all right, one of those. This is a good thing. The guys that no one we've talked about, a guy that you think will finish or has a great chance of finishing top 10.
In what? In their positional?
Wide receivers.
Oh, wide receivers.
A guy that we haven't talked about. Yeah.
Um, Going through the list right now.
I got 2.
I got Tedero McMillan. I think it's realistic that he could finish. He's Jalen Coker did have a great end of the season, but
Yeah.
nothing really to ride home about. I mean, Emeka Buka, you did mention. I do think he can finish in the top 10. And I guess my other guy here would have to be, a later guy. I'm looking through it. It really depends on the outlook that you have on each of these teams, but so I have Tet, and you know what? Going old man Mike Evans here. Tet,
Yeah.
Mike Evans, and Terry McLaurin. Those
That's
are my
fun.
3 guys that I do think can finish in the top 10. Terry McLaurin had such a down season, but he only played 2 games with Jane Daniels last year.
Yep.
When he did play with Jane Daniels, I think he did finish in the top 5 or top 10 that season. I kind of want to see his finish that year. Where he finished at. When he played 17 games, all with Jaden, I think all of them were with Jaden Daniels, and he finished with 16 points a game. I don't have his, and then he finished at 16 overall. Honestly, that's a really bad take. I'm sorry. That's yeah, I don't think I have Terry
That's
McLaurin
fair.
here. He's never had a finish above 15.
He's very much like an 1,050 guy. That's the problem with Terry.
Ladd McConkey does have realistic upside to do it after his rookie season, but like
Hmm.
like what we saw last year, I think he played almost every game and he just didn't finish well. Honestly, Mike Evans is gonna be my dark horse. Oh my God, I'm looking at his career log. 2016,
Gross. He's
wide
gross.
receiver one, then 9, 6, 3, 12, 10, 6, 12, 10, 12, 9, 11. And he was hurt
Yeah.
last year, but he still averaged 10.6. So, Mike
Mike
Evans.
Evans is extremely capable. Even though he didn't reach the 1,000 yard marker, I think he should have a bounce
Yeah.
back. Uh, yeah, my guy that I'd pick. Really, I think it's one of the two. They're both in the same team. I think either Luther or Rome.
I think they're just
I
going to
think one of
cut.
them could do it. I don't know who it's going to be, genuinely, but I think you could flip the coin. I think one of
The,
them's going to break the top 10 this
the,
year.
the thing with Rome last year was he was so touchdown dependent last year, and with Colson Loveland getting a significantly more amount of touches, Luther Burden getting a significantly more amount of touches. I think he was getting a touchdown like every fourth reception or every fifth
He was
reception.
very,
That's
yes, he
just
was very touchdown
insane.
dependent, and he wasn't getting target share nearly enough to support that.
No.
But I do think that the offense is going to fall on one of their shoulders more than the other, and I'm not ready to say it's Luther. Despite the Luther burden propaganda, I'm not ready to say that I would pick him outright over Rome. So that's kind of where that's where I sit with that. Those are my
Yeah.
two guys. But all right,
All right.
awesome.
I think we got a call right here.
Yeah,
Thank you for joining today. I hope we enjoyed everything. I love talking about fantasy football, and I do have to go to work.
he's a working man,
Yeah, today's my
working hard or
Tuesday,
hardly
so
working. Either sport. Yes, sir.
keep that in mind.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for listening. I hope you guys have a blessed Sunday. Enjoy your family, friends, and fantasy football, and we will see you guys next time. Peace.
Peace.